All right, welcome into another fun edition of Off the Leash. I'm Ashley Holder. That's Leah Doherty, Mark Schwab, and OBR's Fred Greetham. The Browns took on the Chicago Bears today, and it pretty much went the exact way that we said it was going to go last week. If you listened to this amazing podcast, they lost this one 31-3. The Bears winning in pretty much every category that you can think of. Didn't commit one turnover today. Browns committing 3. 361 total yards to 192. I mean, whatever could go wrong pretty much went wrong right out of the gate, guys.
They weren't good. They played a team better than them. They got beaten as we all expected, just as you mentioned. I think obviously when we're talking about the Browns at this point in the season, we're talking about what did Shedeur do and did Miles get the record. Miles got a little closer. Shedeur, not really a good day. He threw 3 picks, one of them not his fault. The latest exploits of Jerry Jeudy, and I'm sure we'll get into those adventures as the show unfolds. But generally, not a great day for Shedeur. He had the 2 big balls to Bond, which is cool to see at least them have a connection. But there were, at one point, he was like 5 of 15. Some of the 2 of the picks weren't very good. These are the days he needs to avoid if he's going to try to convince the Browns to not draft a quarterback. And I know people will say, well, the weather stunk. Well, Caleb Williams played in it, and he was pretty good. And you could say, well, the Browns' offensive line was banged up, and it was. And that was a problem. The issue is Shedeur has to overcome that if he's going to prove to the Browns that they should not draft a quarterback. He's got 3 games left after this one. This was not a good day for him.
Yeah, all the way around, as far as sacked 5 times, he has those little spots where he throws downfield. Could have really had 3 with Bond. There was another one, he was open,
yes.
And who knows if Bond turned the wrong way or what. But when you look at this, again, the tone was set right off the gate. Kevin Stefanski wins the toss, defers. You put your defense out there, which is supposed to shut them down. Next thing you know, you're playing from behind. The defense gets a stop, but then they punt. And they give the kickoff return just like last week against Tennessee.
Yep.
And the Bears start in Browns territory. They don't get the touchdown, but they pin the Browns on the 1-yard line, force a short punt, start again in Browns territory after an 18-yard punt return. It's 7-0 game, set, match. Again, the special teams is setting it up on the table for the opposition. Then they're playing from behind. That's not great for a ball-hawking secondary for Shedeur Sanders to face. Absolutely. Jerry Jeudy drops basically a touchdown pass, lets the defender take it right out of his hands. When that ball is perfectly thrown, then they're playing, 28-3. Sanders starts throwing interceptions, ends up with 3. So I don't know if he moved the ball his direction or not today, but the backup offensive line, we already complained all year about the offensive line. You had all backups, and the backup to the backup, Teller's replacement, Tevin Jenkins, left with a shoulder injury, so you literally had a guy who had just added to the practice squad this week.
I think expectations are obviously low for the Browns right now, and so you're not looking for much week to week, but you're looking for, have they made small improvements? Has special teams cleaned up? No. The O-line obviously banged up. Like you had talked about, Fred, we didn't see great things out of them this season. We weren't going to expect to see much from them. Has Jerry Jeudy taken any steps to improve? No. Like, all of these things that we're looking at, okay, we're not asking for much. We're not expecting them to be a playoff team, but, week to week, are they starting to clean up mistakes and get a little bit better? And they're not.
Leah just wants baby steps at this point.
That's what I'm just saying. Something we can talk about of well, at least they took a step in the right direction, right? That's what we could say last week. They played a terrible team, but you could say at least Shedeur, took a step. And that was the positive takeaway, something we could kind of build off of. There's just nothing here anymore that we can build off of. All we have to talk about, like you mentioned, Mark, is Myles Garrett going to get the sack record, and what do we make out of Shedeur for these next 3 games to round out the season? I guess the step forward would be his connection with Isaiah Bond continues to grow, and Isaiah Bond has definitely improved this season from where he started, but It's just like they had a whole slew of guys that were injured. Special teams pinned them from the jump. And how many yards did Quinshon Judkins? 21 yards on the ground today. Shedeur led them with 24 yards on the ground.
Wild.
So it's like they couldn't get anything going on the ground, and you know what you have with your wide receivers. So it's just like, yeah, the game went how we thought it would go.
And the defense struggled once again, 142 yards on the ground. So it's just 2 back-to-back games that they've struggled to stop the run when they knew, especially this time, that the run was coming rather than what they were facing, the week prior. I will say, unsung hero, punted 61 times the last 10 games, Corey Bojorquez. I mean, you can't get upset with him. I mean, he's always going to do what he needs to do. But like you said, I mean, it's not, as we know, it's not really much to look forward to as the season is going. It's just kind of, can they maintain or can they take a little bit of a step forward? But, I mean, we're now getting to the point which we were talking off camera not too long ago. Is just, moving forward with who are they going to keep, who are they bringing, what are they going to do? Because it's not really much it's just like, what do you talk about? And if Miles gets that sack record next week, gosh, we still have two more games after that.
What are we going to talk about? Yeah. The thing with Shedeur, and I meant what I said, like, people are right. If the offensive line's all banged up, that is a problem. For where the Browns are at with their evaluation and their draft capital that they're going to have and the quarterbacks and their decisions they're going to have to make, they can't look back and say, yeah, but the line was banged up on 2 or 3 of these games. If the quarterback is there, they're going to have to draft him. So whether it's fair to Shedeur or not that he has to overcome it, he has to overcome it to a degree. There were things he did pretty well. There was one play at the end of the game. Game was already over, but he stepped up in the pocket, and then he was moving laterally in the pocket. They were talking a lot about this in the telecast. That's pocket presence awareness that he really, and footwork and everything, he got a lot better on. He had a play earlier in the game where instead of doing his, I'm going to keep stepping back into oblivion and take a sack, he stood in the pocket and made a throw to Fannin, and it was a short throw for a first down. But he got drilled as he cut it loose. And it wasn't like, I'm just going to keep stepping back and then put the arm back and fall down and look ridiculous. That was growth. That was pocket presence growth. He looked really good in those moments. Was it enough? No. They scored 3 points. His numbers were bad. But there is a baby step or two if you want one of things from Shedeur. You're like, that's better than it was 3-4 weeks ago.
How do you evaluate him, though, with a lousy offensive line, a lousy running game, a lousy wide receivers, and you're like, okay, does he have any ability or not? And you can see he does make plays. So it's like, I don't know how you evaluate that.
Well, one thing about that was interesting. Sorry to cut you off, Leah, but one thing that I was talking to with a couple of people earlier was just the fact that first half of the season, Dylan had to play. He played against a gauntlet of a schedule, right? Now you're getting to the point where Shedeur is now playing against, actual talent necessarily. Yes, they did lose to the Titans. I don't know what happened there. But, that win came against the Raiders, and that wasn't a good team. Okay, the Titans, not a good team. That's just like the football miracle guys just coming down and helping the Titans out. And now he's getting into a tough schedule. And I feel like now we'll have this sample size of these 4 games or whatever to be able to compare it to when Dylan was out there with that gauntlet of a schedule. And I'm not saying it's still against, Dylan and him, but I'm just curious to see how do they both measure up going up against tough teams? You know what I mean?
And that was interesting. That was part of what I was going to talk about is the larger conversation this season has been, how do you evaluate these quarterbacks? Because early on, we were saying maybe Joe Flacco wasn't the problem because when he left, he was able to have some touchdowns and get some good yardage with Cincinnati. And then, it's hard when you look at it when there's no pieces around them. So we were like, okay, maybe the problem isn't quarterback. Maybe it wasn't Joe Flacco. Like, Dylan Gabriel, of course, had problems in his own right. But when there's, no pieces around these guys, it's hard. Like we talk about with the banged up O-line and stuff, it's hard. I feel bad for him. It's, hard to give him a fair shake, especially these rookies. That's just – I felt bad for him. It's a hard spot they're put in.
Well, he wasn't able to get to the end zone today, was sacked 5 times, 3 interceptions, and it's definitely something that he would like to go look at the tape and get some of those plays back.
Defense is known for their ability to take the ball away. What did you see out there with the interceptions, and which ones would you think what plays would you maybe like to have back, I guess?
I would like to have majority of plays back for sure. They did a good job in doing what the coach is doing. Shout out to their defense coordinator team. They did a lot of great stuff.
Obviously, credit to the Bears. We didn't play well enough, didn't coach well enough today. Got off to a bad start and never were able to get out of that. So credit to them, but we have to, learn from these, and as players, we got to learn from some of these moments, and we will.
What were your impressions of Caleb Williams and kind of what they did to move him around to kind of, negate your guys' pass rush in terms of moving the pocket?
Well, I think we rushed pretty well for the most part, but he's elusive. He got out of a couple. They held up. They protected with 6 or 7 sometimes, but they also have some really good guys on that O-line. And rolling the pocket definitely helps. He's able to use his feet and still be quite accurate. And now they use that to their advantage on, I believe, a couple of scoring plays where he was on the move and he found someone just with time. You give a guy like that time and receivers, the option to, kind of like freestyle, back there, and they're going to eventually get open. So we have to continue to try to pull him up and keep him contained. And we did that for the most part, but he definitely made plays. And he's a playmaker.
Caleb Williams able to do a whole lot on his feet today, 242 yards, but also had 13 on the ground. There was that one point where Myles Garrett was chasing him, and he was able to scramble all the way. And I want to say he got a first down on that play before he hopped out. But, it kind of just showed you how well, their O-line was able to protect Caleb today, and that was the complete opposite of what the Browns were able to do for Shedeur.
Well, the Bears, with the new coach coming in, first-year coach, made a concerted effort to overhaul their offensive line because they had Caleb Williams, number 1 pick, and felt he was the guy, but he was getting beat up and hammered all over. The guy looks night and day. Now, I'm sure it's with the experience, but a new offensive line. They went out and got Joe Thuney, top free agent, and they resurrected that offensive line. And you can see it makes a difference. So the hope is here that the Browns can rebuild this offensive line in the offseason, and whoever's back there has a chance to survive. And that's, to your point about the quarterback, it's always about the quarterback. If they're not sold that there is a clear-cut answer in the draft for them, you bring back Sanders, play him again, because he's shown he can play, and put a fortress around him on the offensive line. How about using them 2 first-round picks with an offensive tackle or maybe 2 offensive tackles? Or maybe
shake it
wide
up because I was
receivers,
going receiver and
both
offensive.
One of each.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying is that surround with whoever with weapons so you can legitimately evaluate what you have.
Who all is up at the end of the season isn't like nearly everyone we were talking about, right?
Four of the 5 on the offensive line are free agents, and I don't see them bringing any of them back except Batonio if he doesn't retire. He's the grading out the best of all of them, but Posick I thought had a chance to come back until he tore his Achilles, so I don't know where he stands, but you could have a completely new offensive line next year.
And it's interesting because when you see Joe in the locker room, he's always like coming up to the podium. He's holding his back. Like you could tell he's pushing to continue to keep playing for this team. But his body, he talks about it a lot, like his back and this. Like he has a long list of injuries. So it's just like it's respectable to see a guy of that caliber playing that long and still playing at a high level. But we're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back with Mark Schwab's true or false question of the week.
All right, true false question of the week here on the Browns. And a lot of times these are game centric. It's not really going to be about that today because at some point there's only so much you can say. But it kind of ties in with the look of the team today. And what I mean by that, I'm going to go with David Njoku. He didn't play today. He's out. And we don't know if or when we'll see him again in a Browns uniform. He's a free agent after the year. True or false, with the emergence of Harold Fannin, the Browns should move on, not retain David Njoku, not try to re-sign him.
I would say true. I think what we've seen from Harold Fannin, really what we've seen from a lot of this rookie class is I think we've seen more production out of him this year. I mean, I know like Njoku had that touchdown last year, but by and large last week, by and large when we've talked about Njoku this season, we've been like, Where is he? Is he hurt? Are they playing him? Are they using him? I didn't even notice him today. Like he hasn't made an impact on this season, and I would argue Harold Fannin has. And so I think you go with your young guy. Like I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably have to say that just go ahead and what do you I mean, if you keep him, then keep him for cheap. Don't
No,
just
no.
that's my whole thing.
Yes or no.
Okay.
They need to move on
This is
from
his
him.
speech every week. No gray area,
No, can't
right?
live in the
I
gray
feel like
area.
it's not a gray. Okay,
It
it's a
is
little bit gray.
absolutely.
Okay, fine. Move on from him. Move on from him. Because I just with what you see from Harold Fannin, I just don't see the point of needing to keep him to block. That's just me, right? You could probably pick someone else up that could be cheaper, whatnot, and I say pretty much cut your losses. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, 48 targets on 33 receptions, 48 targets. He has 293 yards, which I didn't even know he had 293 yards.
No.
Like, it's way more than what I thought, and 4 touchdowns on the season. But yeah, I would that would be mine. True.
I'd say
Was it
true. I mean, without in a no gray area. I mean, he's been injured. He's getting into that stage, even though he's only like 29. He's been around forever. He's now becoming injury prone week after week, where he's not practicing or playing. And what's unfortunate, he's probably the best or second best weapon when you look at their wide receivers. Fannin's emerged. He now has 66 catches. He caught and tied the record all time since 1999 in rookie season. Kevin Johnson had 66 catches in his rookie year in 1999, and he's going to break that with 3 games to play. He's got 28 more catches than number 2 on the team. He's almost got a season more of catches. Judy had 1 today, and so he added 7, so he went up. You know, like he's almost got 30 catches more than the closest guy to him, and so sure, he's the future.
He had 14
We be
targets
tearing
today.
Judy up on this.
You know, he stunk. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be a man on an island here, and I'm going to say false because I'm going to operate from the premise you started to go here. I don't know why they wouldn't get him cheap. He hasn't produced. He's been injured. He's starting to get older. He wants to be here. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to get him inexpensively, so I think they should pursue retaining him.
Someone could get him could pay him more though.
But why would they?
I don't know, someone like crazy like the Raiders would do something like that.
He was going off.
Well,
the
the Raiders actually have 2 tight ends, probably better than him, at least 1. So I think they could get him cheap, and from that premise, I would say try to retain him. And the question was, should the Browns try to move? So yes, I think they should try to keep him because I don't think it'll cost much, and he wants to be here. How many people want to be here?
Right.
You guys know this.
He was screaming in the locker room, "I'm going nowhere!" A couple weeks ago.
Well, what's the movie Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not going.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not going. Yeah,
He's got to beat the microphone into his head.
He just
That
kept-
would be something
and-
that would happen.
And also, to build on that, you guys, they don't have any weapons. We all know that. I don't want them burning any more draft capital on tight ends. You hit,
Right.
you got one last year in the 3rd round who has been an instant impact guy. That is rare for a 3rd round tight end to come in and be an instant impact. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And when it happens,
only if it's for cheap though.
but why wouldn't it be?
Because I also don't see him just saying I'm gonna just stay here for cheap. He's gonna want to get paid because
he's gonna
at the
want
same
it,
time,
but I don't know. That's
Doesn't
my
mean it's
point.
gonna happen.
Right, but it may not happen here. But
I don't
it could
think
happen
anyone
to
will
somewhere
pay
else
him.
because my thing is this: like as he's getting older, he's still gonna say I want to.
Yeah.
Like you know that window is small for you, so you got to make the money that you can.
Built into my answer is I don't think there's big money out there for him.
Now I'm not saying big money, but I'm saying if it was a vet minimum here and somewhere else said, hey, we're gonna give you 3.5.
We'll
Okay,
see.
then
they
you take
moved
the you
on
obviously
from
take
Nick
the
Chubb for $1
3.5.
million.
Right.
So
I also just don't. Yeah, I want him to concentrate. Like you brought up drafting and wide receivers, linemen. This would be a way to kind of keep tight end status quo without being, dedicating big money to it, high draft capital, whatever. I think there's a path there where it makes sense. I want to see them explore it. Whether or not it happens, who knows? Guys, it's like what, December 14th.
Yep.
We're grasping at straws of talking
We really
points,
are.
things to talk about. So that was a little new nugget to throw out there.
love
Well, you know,
How
our
many times can we talk
I feel
about
like
the
next
same
week we
things?
need to have a little bit of leeway and we get to have some gray area. You got to give me
No.
1 week where I'm allowed to have a true or
This-
false. We are
this-
doing true false gray area of the week.
This started because way back with the first iteration of this show 2 years ago, I asked a true-false question. You basically spent 5 minutes on maybes. I'm like, that is
No, that's
not
not
the
true.
exercise.
Who, me?
I love
Yes.
a choice. We have to pick a
Lies.
choice.
You know, we're gonna run the tape back. We're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna look ahead at the Browns' rest of their schedule that they probably will not win. We'll be right back. All right, so the Browns have the Buffalo Bills coming to the building on Sunday. Y'all know I get a little happy when the Bills come around.
Wegmans. We love
Oh, you know
Buffalo.
what? I don't want to get off track, but Wegmans is a fantastic grocery store. After Browns
gonna
practice
get
or in
us on a
between, I
rant.
would go have lunch at Wegmans, have a little
mean,
sushi. I'd go
Ashley
sandwich.
used to
I
work
know,
in
I,
Buffalo.
I know I
for
said
those
with
that
Slim
don't
Pickens
know.
on
Yeah,
the talking
I'm so
point,
sorry, but, like,
if we're on to
Wegmans-
grocery stores of
Tim,
Western
I
New
love
York,
You have never. Have you been to Wegmans?
no, I have not
There's
been
the
to it.
problem. That's exactly why he doesn't know.
We
what
are
it is.
on to
Anyways,
grocery stores of Western New York.
It is
That's where the podcast is taking
fantastic.
us.
Okay, if you've been to Wegmans, you know. If you know, you know. Wegmans, you know.
a big
Okay,
segment
so
of our audience.
exactly. Listen,
I'm
the
down.
Bills are coming to town next Sunday. We should just talk about that one. We don't have that much time. The Steelers after that, and then they wrap up the season with the Bengals. Josh Allen, the Bills. This could probably be where Myles Garrett ties the record or breaks the record. I feel like that's the only thing right now to look forward to.
They're going to get beat 1,000-2. Let's go, Miles.
Yeah, I mean, here's another top opponent to kind of gauge your rookie quarterback, Shedeur, again. See what he does. Hopefully you get somebody back that can block. You know, when you have very little blocking, you can't evaluate, in my opinion, much. The Bears knew that the Browns had one shot, and that was running the ball, and they just put a swarming defense on Quinshon Judkins. His longest run today was 4 yards. No blocking that I could see, opening up holes. So, yeah, Bills come in. They're striving to win for playoffs and seed. Then you got the Steelers kind of in the same situation. So these are good measuring sticks for your young quarterback and good experience for the future for him.
Yeah, it'll be, can we get guys back? Can we get guys healthy? What can we see from Shedeur? Is Miles going to break the record? And can Jerry Jeudy catch the ball? Maybe twice this next coming week instead of once.
Bills 8.5 favorites over the
Honestly,
Browns.
I was
feels
about to
low.
say, do we
That
know the
feels
spread?
Yeah,
low.
that's what the spread already is. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's only 8.5, but at the same time, I can see how it's 8.5.
I can't.
But I also could see that O-line making sure that Deion Dawkins and them do a very good job up front, and I feel like they're going to try to make sure that Myles Garrett does not get that record on Josh Allen. Because I feel like that's just going to
everyone's
follow
goal is to
Yeah,
but that
throw everything at him.
Williams was saying he isn't going to get it here, and well, he didn't, but came real close.
Got close.
All right, well, the Browns losers to the Chicago Bears, 31-3 for Ashley Holder, Leah Doherty, Mark Schwab, and OBR's Fred Greetham. We will see you here next week after the Bills and Browns game. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a win. Not sure,
Maybe
but
have
we'll
some
see.
Wegmans.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.